Hi, very pleased to meet you again. Has the world of over 8 billion people ever made you feel lonely and overwhelmed? Let's say one day you wake up and find out everyone has vanished. Life in the new world will be very different. You can eat whatever you like, go wherever, and do whatever, and no one will be there to stop you. Jump into the most expensive sports car and turn every street into a racetrack. You essentially become the king of the world. But is ruling a planet with only one resident an easy task? And will your life flourish or fade if no one else exists in the world? Make your guess. If you're living in a downtown, you'll first notice the quietness and emptiness that used to be rare nowadays. There will be no more noise from the used-to-be busy street, and no more phone calls from your loved ones. No one texted you last night or commented on your post. That's weird, you thought. But soon you will realize there's no one beside you in the entire city. So you started thinking, this is the best day of my life. Like, what else could it be? No more waking up on time, no rushing to sell your soul to the bourgeoisie. You leisurely stroll down the familiar street, admiring the beauty that has always been there. No more police officers, you casually smash this and break that. You shop without looking at prices, throwing money away like it's paper. Hold on a second, you realize there's a plane crashing down. With no one to control, all vehicles including planes, cars, trains, and ships will crash into God knows where, hopefully not your house. Machinery will continue to operate and ultimately malfunction, causing huge explosion in industrial zones. But if you happen to be far away from all that chaos, you'll become the king of the world. Congratulations. You can freely enter any building, any country in the world. Stay in any luxurious villa you've only seen on Mr. Beast's channel. But before you can even get there, you realize that all trains, bus stations, and airports stopped working due to nobody. Well, at least you can drive around, right? Well, correct, but not for long. With no one to maintain and repair, the gas pump in your car will soon be inoperable. Welcome to the 50-year survival challenge on the Earth server, where you are the sole living to witness the sudden and mysterious disappearance of a once thriving civilization. Set aside the profound grief and extreme panic as all your family, friends, and loved ones vaporized. How can you quickly adapt to a world where you have to do everything yourself? First and foremost, remember that the sudden disappearance of humanity means no one is operating and maintaining power plants, power grids, and other infrastructure. Not long after you find yourself sitting alone on the throne of your kingdom, the whole world will lose power. No more electricity, and the everyday conveniences of the 21st century like GPS, the internet, social media, and online games will become things of the past. But who are you planning to play online games with anyway? Books will be your best friends, just a little hard to find without Google. That doesn't mean you'll immediately regress to the Stone Age. With enough luck, you'll find generators and fuel at gas stations. There's plenty of food in supermarkets, but perishable items like meat, fish, eggs, milk, dairy products, and vegetables will spoil quickly without electricity. So indulge in them before it's too late. Canned goods, instant noodles, and rice in supermarkets will be enough to keep you going. Canned goods with high acid content like tomatoes and fruits will expire first, typically after about 18 months. Foods with low acid content like canned meat and fish will last longer. Overall, if stored properly in a dry and clean place, canned goods will be your food reserve for many decades. On top of that, water pumping stations and water treatment plants will cease to function. The water from your taps will run dry. But luckily, you'll find a large quantity of bottled water in supermarkets and convenience stores. If you're diligent about stockpiling, it might be enough for you to drink for many years. But you'll grow tired of canned food after just a few months. That's why you should become a farmer, read books, and learn about farming. You'll have a stable, fresh food source. You can also fish or hunt to occasionally improve your situation, with all kinds of fishing gear and bait available to practice with. Stay active, and luck may come your way. Hunting works much the same. You'll find guns somewhere in police stations or military bases. Guns and bullets are convenient, but you can also set traps or use bows to increase efficiency. However, the universe doesn't care about your game. Without people, buildings, roads, bridges, and even where you live will gradually deteriorate. Plants and wild animals will slowly reclaim the land that was once theirs. The cityscape will gradually be covered in green. Some artificial structures will remain long after you're gone, such as pyramids, the Great Walls, or Stonehenge. However, most modern structures have limited budgets and were not designed to last forever. Concrete and steel also have their limits, and they will all crumble under the onslaught of rain, frost, and heat. Initially, the roof tiles will be covered in vines, walls will be attacked by mold, wood will decay, and plant life will accelerate the destruction of structures. But it's not the plants you should worry about. The real danger comes from high heat, more specifically, fire. With just one lightning strike and the absence of firefighters, a small house fire can escalate into a raging inferno, engulfing an entire city. You might be forced to move, leaving behind all your food reserves and the shelter you built with your own hands over many years. And that's if you're lucky enough not to be consumed by the flames. If you think rural areas are safer, think again. While there's plenty of land for farming, the shortage of supermarkets with essential supplies will devastate your life. You would have to drive into the city often and scavenge through buildings, now territory of wild animals like wolves and tigers. But if you thought at least you could find a way to avoid all possible encounters and live peacefully into old age, you're mistaken. There are about 440 nuclear power plants operating in 32 countries worldwide. Although all nuclear power plants are built with safety mechanisms, if humans disappear, the reactors will automatically shut down, control rods will be inserted to stop the reaction, and coolant pumps will operate to cool the fuel assemblies. But ultimately, no reactor was designed to function by itself. Once the pumps stop due to fuel depletion, temperatures will rise rapidly, causing catastrophic meltdowns. The ultimate consequence is large-scale radiation releases, each equivalent to a Chernobyl disaster. So there would be hundreds of nuclear meltdowns happening all over the world with no one to report them. Radioactive fallout from hundreds of nuclear explosions is released into the air, falling with rain and accumulating in the soil and water you use for farming and livestock. Your crops, cattle, poultry, and even the natural water in rivers and oceans will be contaminated. Even breathing alone increases the risk of cancer. Speaking of illness, if you fall sick, no one could take care of you but yourself. Good thing is, you won't get contagious diseases such as COVID, because there would be no one to transmit them to you. But gastrointestinal diseases, respiratory diseases, and genetic diseases like heart disease, diabetes, or cancer spare no one, especially you. But diseases kill you slowly, while accidents can take your life at any moment. From traffic accidents, falling, drowning, burning, and poisoning, to choking and overdosing. All these accidents can happen any time in a person's life, and countless other accidents, like a broken arm, can also be fatal if you're not rescued or helped in time. You can equip yourself with knowledge from thousands of books in libraries. But what book can save you when you're unconscious? Almost guarantee you will perish lonely. If you think loneliness can't kill you, you're wrong. Humans are social beings. We need to maintain social interactions to live a healthy life, both physically and mentally. From the time of hunting and gathering, humans have lived in communities to protect, support, and share resources. Our brains have evolved to be highly social, empathetic, and communicative. They become redundant if we live a solitary life. Scientists prove that living in a world without peers causes depression, deteriorates mental health, reduces cognition, increases the risk of heart disease, and will lead to obesity, weakened immune system, Alzheimer's disease, and even premature death. All right, that's enough of the negativity. Hopefully this situation will never happen to anyone. Being crowded is overwhelming, yet it's better than being left alone. These are the thoughts of Omnicessary. What about you? What would you do if you became the last person on Earth? Remember to share in the comments section. As always, remember to like the video if you find it interesting, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you don't miss out on speculative content from Omnicessary. Goodbye, and see you again.